My parents kept me separated from everyone throughout my childhood because of a secret. I never questioned it, but years later, when I finally learned the truth, I realized what they had been hiding from me all along. My parents kept me separated from everyone throughout my childhood because of a secret whose name was forbidden in our house. And the strange thing is, I never asked questions. Maybe children only ask questions when they believe the answers will be safe. I always felt that if I tried to learn too much, the same fear would return to my mother's eyes. The fear that appeared whenever I mentioned school, friends, or going outside. Tonight, at 3:07 a.m., I'm sitting in that same silent suburban house. An old sitcom is playing softly on late-night TV, but the noise inside me is filling the entire room. An Ambien pill lies on the table, untouched. Because tonight I don't need sleep. I need answers. When I was a child, I was never taken to family gatherings. At Thanksgiving, when my cousins came from Boston, I stayed in the upstairs bedroom. Downstairs, I could hear laughter, silverware clinking, the smell of turkey drifting beneath the door. Then my mother's footsteps in the hallway. She would bring me a plate and say, "You're tired. Get some rest." I wasn't tired. I was being hidden. Back then, I assumed something must be wrong with me. Maybe I was strange, ugly. Children can reach the cruelest conclusions about themselves. My father had even instructed my school principal never to publish my picture in a public newsletter. He came along on field trips. Sleepovers were never allowed. Whenever we went to Target, my mother checked the parking lot before letting me out of the car. If a stranger looked at me too closely, she gripped my hand so tightly that my fingers hurt. "Mom, does that person know us?" "No, honey, just hurry. Just hurry." That was the sentence of my childhood. Now the refrigerator light is falling across my face. I'm standing in the middle of the kitchen drinking cold water. That pale light somehow always feels like company at night. Beside the coffee machine lies the brown envelope that arrived from Portland this afternoon. Beneath my name, written in faded handwriting, was a single sentence. "You deserve to know your real story now." The sender's name was Dr. Alan Moore. I didn't know him. Or maybe I did, and simply couldn't remember. Inside the envelope were a small cassette tape, several medical records, a yellowed photograph, and a second birth certificate. A second one, because the certificate my parents had guarded all these years was a lie. My hands are still trembling as I pick up the photograph. A little girl is sitting on a hospital bed in Seattle. There's a bandage around part of her head, a blue sweater around her shoulders, terror in her eyes. The little girl is me. My mother is standing beside me, but on the other side of the picture is another woman. She has my eyes, my cheeks, and the same crescent-shaped birthmark on her wrist. Written on the back are the words, "Laura and her daughters, Emily and Nora. November 1994. My mother's name is Susan. I start the coffee machine. Coffee at 3 in the morning. Maybe that's insane. But the grinding and sputtering are better than the silence. Orange streetlight slips through the blinds and breaks across the floor. And my memories, scattered, tangled, begin falling over one another. I was 5 when a woman came to our house. It was raining. Yes, that endless Seattle rain. She pounded on the front door and screamed, "Emily. Baby, I'm here." My mother hid me in the pantry. No, not the pantry. The laundry room. The sharp smell of detergent. The heat from the dryer. My mother's hand covering my mouth. "Don't make a sound, sweetie. Please." Later, my father told me that a drunk woman had mistaken our house for someone else's. I believed him. I believed everything. Sometimes accepting a lie is easier than asking for the truth. Especially when the people telling the lie are the same people who tuck you into bed every night. According to the medical records, my real name was Nora Bennett. I was not Susan and Michael's biological daughter. Laura Bennett was my birth mother. And Emily was my twin sister. Twin. The word shattered something locked inside me. Was that why my face sometimes looked unfamiliar in the mirror? Was that why I used to speak to an imaginary sister named Emmy? Was that why I dreamed of another little girl crying on the far side of a dark room? The record said that when we were 4, our father, Daniel, tried to kill Laura. He was violent, obsessive, and had violated multiple restraining orders. One night, he broke into the house, set it on fire, and tried to take us. The neighbors called the police. Laura was critically injured. I was found unconscious from smoke inhalation. Emily was missing. Susan and Michael were foster parents at the time. I was placed with them in an emergency arrangement. After Daniel escaped, authorities changed my name and sealed my records. It wasn't witness protection, but it was close. No photographs. No family gatherings. No public records. My parents hadn't hidden me because they were ashamed of me. They had been protecting me. But then came the second revelation, the one that filled my chest with anger alongside gratitude. Dr. Moore's letter explained that Daniel had died in prison 10 years ago. The danger had ended. Laura was still alive. And Emily had never truly disappeared. She had been placed with another adoptive family that same night because authorities feared that keeping us together would make it easier for Daniel to find both of us. My parents had known all of this for 10 years. They never told me. Laura had written letters. So had Emily. Every Christmas. Every birthday. Asking to find me, meet me, or simply see a picture of me. My parents placed every letter in a safe deposit box. I inserted the cassette and pressed play. An old voice came through the speakers. Weak and trembling. Nora. I don't know whether you'll ever call me Mom. Maybe I don't have the right to ask. But I never abandoned you. They told me you would be safer if I stayed away. I waited every year. For you to be ready, or perhaps for the people who raised you to be ready. I stopped the tape. Artificial laughter burst from the sitcom in the living room. So badly timed that I started laughing. Then I began to cry. Strange. How a person can do both at once. Shortly before dawn, my parents came downstairs. My mother saw the envelope and went pale. My father pulled out a chair but couldn't bring himself to sit. We didn't want to lose you, my mother said. So you hid my entire life from me? We were afraid you would choose Laura, choose Emily, and leave us. That sentence was the real secret. At first, they had hidden me from danger. Later, they imprisoned me in the name of love. Protection had slowly turned into ownership. I didn't scream. Maybe my silence hurt them more. You saved my life, I said. I will always be grateful for that. But you also took away my right to decide who I am. My mother cried. My father stared at the floor. For the first time, they didn't look powerful. They looked frightened. Like two people who had concealed a woman's identity because they were terrified of losing the child she had once been. I went upstairs and pulled out a suitcase. Then I stopped. Running away would have been revenge. But I wasn't that frightened little girl anymore. I called the number in Portland. For several seconds there was silence. Then a woman answered. Hello. My throat went dry. Emily. She inhaled sharply, as though she had been waiting years to hear that single word. Nora. Outside the window, the sky was turning blue. The coffee had gone cold. The Ambien was still lying untouched on the table, but for the first time I felt sleep coming, gentle, safe, honest sleep. I wasn't ready to forgive my parents. Not yet. But I finally understood that the greatest revenge wasn't abandoning them. It was reclaiming myself. I deserved the whole truth. A complete family, a complete name, a complete life. As the first morning light touched my face, I said to Emily, I'm coming to meet you. And for the first time in years, it felt as though a new day wasn't only beginning outside the window. A new version of me was being born too. If this story touched your heart or kept you watching until the very end, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more powerful, emotional stories. Your support means more than you know. Thank you so much for watching, and I truly hope to see you again in the next story.